Fixed it for you, kings? Hi, how's it going? Let's talk about eyes. No, not that one. These ones. Have you noticed how each species in Outer Wilds seems to have more eyes as the universe grows old? The Herthians have 4, the Nomai have 3, and the strangers, the owl people? The Owlians? The other species have 2 eyes. I've seen discussions on the forums of people hypothesizing that there is a species with 1 eye yet to be revealed. Would we meet them in the DLC? Would we finally learn all the mysteries of the universe? And would I ever find the names of the 3 legends who have subscribed to me? Cheers, guys. No, we already know the species that came before this, and it's hidden in plain sight. But that will come later. Still, it made me wonder why this creative design idea to increase eye number as the universe aged was even a choice. Fortunately, I'm an absolute nerd in symbolism and saw an overlap with the species' culture and history. This is your official spoiler warning for Outer Wilds from now. Let's take the Herthians for example with 4 eyes. The Herthians are the youngest species in Outer Wilds, and whilst they live a basic life on their home planet of Timber Hearth, they have used the Nomai technology to develop space travel and other useful tools. Let's look at some symbolism behind this. In Buddhism, there is a fundamental teaching known as the 4 Noble Truths, which often can be represented by 4 eyes. The 4 truths involve the truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, the truth of the end of suffering, and the truth of the path to the end of suffering. The 4 eyes related to these truths symbolize the wisdom and insight required to understand and overcome suffering in one's life. Does this sound familiar? The protagonist of Outer Wilds suffers every 22-minute loop, finds the truth of it, finds out the termination for it, and finally finds the path to liberation through the eye. In other words, they find, or we find, the wisdom and insight to overcome our own suffering through passing into the eye and, for now, avoiding the supernova. Let's also look at Native American culture. 4 eyes are used to depict the connection between the physical and spiritual realms. Those with 4 eyes have heightened perception and were seen as visionaries or seers. And what about the 3-eyed Nomai? The Nomai race are a nomadic species with a passionate aptitude for discovery and exploration. They are technologically advanced and hugely ambitious. They are epitomized by their power and their wisdom. Shiva is one of the principal deities in Hindu culture. Shiva is represented to have a tilaka on their forehead above the eyebrow. This 3rd eye, or dot, symbolizes the power of knowledge and the detection of evil. Again, in Buddhism, a 3rd eye is placed in a similar position and is known as the Eye of Wisdom, representing the vantage point from which enlightenment beyond one's physical sight is achieved. Is this not the Nomai down to a T? Their power derives from their knowledge of warp travel and time displacement. They even detect the evilness of the eye, which draws them to the supernova destined system. And when it comes to the 3rd eye acting as a vantage point beyond one's physical sight, they literally send themselves information through time, crossing the rules of the 3rd dimension to transfer knowledge to themselves and others. The story of the 2-eyed species, which I will now refer to as the bird persons, is by far the most tragic in the world of the game. Spoilers now for Echoes of the Eye. They are called to the Eye through their home world through a beacon. In seeking to understand it and venture there, they exhaust all the resources on their home planet to craft a spaceship to travel to the Eye. This spaceship is a centrifuge which mimics their home planet. When arriving closer to the Eye, the bird people found out that if they actually interacted with the Eye, all planets would be destroyed and their entire species would turn to dust. Angered and distraught by this revelation, and heartbroken that they'd sacrificed their own planet to get here, they created a simulation of their home planet, to live out their days in a memory of what once was. You get the impression this still isn't enough for them, shown by this bird person watching a slide reel of their home planet whilst in the simulation of their home planet. Sometimes the digital world isn't enough. Please like and subscribe for me to make more friends in the digital world. So, why was there a choice to give these species in particular 2 eyes? Well, 2 eyes are symbolic to physical and spiritual normality. I like that we as humans deem 2 eyes to be the normal in symbology. It's like labeling Homo sapiens as the goat species, even though we're the only self-aware species to be able to do that. I think what's more interesting is the similarity between the bird people and humans. They deplete all of their resources on their beautiful home planets at the cost of destroying it. The focus on what's out there rather than what they have. I wonder if in 1,000 years human will be watching reels of our own planet, yearning for a time of what once was. Man, that's a bit bleak, isn't it? So what species had one eye? Well, let's take a look at the symbolism. One eye is synonymous with divine knowledge, being subhuman and superhuman. The eye of providence depicts one eye surrounded by rays of light and glory. It represents divine providence, the eye of God watching over humanity. So in Outer Wilds, the one eye is the eye of the universe, right? It's God, or some interpretation of it. The gnome I suggest is older than the universe itself. It was the first eye to show itself in the world of Outer Wilds. Therefore, you could suggest each species was created by the eye and adding an eye to each next species as a sort of label of progress. Perhaps the aim and completion was always to draw someone into itself, with the Hearthian species finally completing this task. And if you look at the process to reach the eye, each species had their hand in us getting there. The bird people found the signal in the first place, then with the prisoner switching off the beacon block, the Nomai could then travel to the system. The Nomai then created the eye locator, which the Hearthians then used to arrive there, each species giving a helping hand to the next. This game is so open to interpretation that your opinion of what happened and how you see the world may be completely different to mine, and I'd love to hear about any theories in the comments, especially any far-fetched ones. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this, and hopefully see you in the next one.